A 16-year-old from Pittsfield was arrested after being found in possession of a stolen gun and ammunition. Around 7:30 Wednesday night, an officer not in uniform patrolling downtown says he was shoulder checked by a juvenile male as he was walking by. Officials say when the teen hit the officer, he gestured, having a gun in his waistband. The officer began investigating the teen and another young man. They both refused to comply. Eventually, a loaded gun stolen from Vermont in 2022 was found on the juvenile who made the original gesture. He was taken into custody.